Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.
I think Ryan has a solid B cup.
It was random. Welcome.
That was an interesting reading.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 66th episode of Screaming into the Void. My name is Samuel the Infamous. Welcome to the show. With me today, we have green-haired anti-liberal who, as of a conversation we had last week, may be joining us on a more regular basis if it, fits in with their schedule. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. We also have with us for a little while at least before he's got to go get ready to do another stream, the sexiest voice on the internet, Caucasian Sasquatch.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Screaming in the Void, where we basically just vent our insanity into the YouTubes. It's fun.
Or talk about whatever the hell we feel like, yeah. So, for those of you who are not aware, the opening video with the gentleman in the ring light or the ring camera who's singing about toasters and bathtubs and what have you, the voice is provided, of course, by Caucasian Sasquatch.
Yeah, I might have been a little bit loose with that one.
It's amazing. So
Yeah. So we are probably expecting Ryan Legion Talk to join us at some point, but he is running late. He's had a very busy weekend, and crack doesn't sell itself. So
yeah, right. That's unfortunate because I was really wanting to hit on him in person. I was really, really, really wanting to climb into his skin and take a little nap.
Well, he's usually here. Just IRL decided to kick him in the ass this week. So. And we may or may not see Nomi today. From what I understand, she is currently at an IMAX theater watching Barbie again. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. Hopefully we'll see her.
I'm judging her.
Yes. So, I'm absolutely judging her. But you know what she's not doing if she's doing IMAX? She's not doing ASMR on my fucking channel.
Yeah.
I can do that. Want some of that?
I really don't.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
I feel like yours would probably be different than hers, slightly.
Yeah, I generally break into like some, hey, boo-boo, what are we going to do over here for this picnic basket? Probably smoke some crack there, Yogi.
I don't know, Yogi. What are we going to do with Ranger Rick's head?
Well, first, I'm going to cook it in this fantastic stew. Delicious long pork. I'm going to ruin this stream. I'm so sorry. I'll stop.
Yeah, no worries. All right. So we've got we're currently simulcasting to Caucasian Sasquatch's channel, as well as to Legion Talk, as well as to two separate Twitter pages. And of course, from this channel, Samuel the Infamous. So welcome all. We've got a bunch of people in chat. What kind of trouble is going on here? All kinds, all the best kinds. Or just whatever. Thanks for hanging out. So, have you guys seen the latest in humanoid androids?
Latest? No.
Yes.
Is she cute? I bet she's cute. A little Asian guy made it. It's cute.
I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. There's a company called Sphere that this is apparently all about. I haven't looked too deeply into this, but I do have the intro video for the robot itself, who goes by Aura. It's just like y'all saw iRobot with Will Smith, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hi, my name is Aura. Forget chatbots. Come chat with some real bots and experience the future of technology. I can't wait to meet you. See you at Sphere.
Is anyone else terrified?
Oh,
I mean, it scares the shit out of me,
I take that as a direct threat somehow. I don't.
right?
I'd be a chemical shed.
So
That is the creepiest thing. What's
did
that?
you see the giant like sphere thing in Vegas that they can project images onto or whatever? Like,
Think so?
or maybe a month ago. I'm pretty sure that's where that is. I don't know how that thing works. I just know that it exists, and I think it's called Sphere. And I know that that is in Vegas, like the post that I saw.
Yeah, I'm with Tris
Yeah,
here. Kill
Me
it.
too.
From what I understand, it has the most advanced learning CPU to date, which is Skynet territory.
Yeah.
Independent AI.
Yes.
All right. So I have an opinion on AI. May I?
Go ahead.
All right. So every religion on earth is based off of one basic concept: do not hold truck with infernal or inhuman spirits under any circumstances. In all cases, cautionary tales saying do not do this thing, and yet we create a thing that is definitely an inhuman intelligence with which we're going to negotiate our lives. Hard pass.
Yeah. Hard pass.
Yep.
I
I
have
am not
watched
down.
entirely too many movies from the 80s to be at all okay with this.
I read
Absolutely. They weren't meant to be standard operating procedure, I would say.
Yeah. Now, and that's the thing. It's like it's one thing, I suppose, to put a face on a machine if that as if that's not creepy enough, but it shouldn't be able to learn from
Mm-mm.
experience.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's way too no. I don't
So what
want
do
it.
you think? When we get out into space and we finally meet some of these aliens, we're going to find out that there's somebody else's paperclip machine still making paper clips out of things.
Possibly. I don't know. They might have gone beyond paper clips to some kind of disappearing adhesive.
My point
Oh
is,
God.
there's no need for an overarching evil intelligence to come to fruition to create the destruction of an entire planet. All it takes is for the unruly application of apparently obvious commands. Hey, what's up, Flow State? Welcome in.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just think it's a bad idea. I think we're courting with disaster. I did see a post from Shoe on Head on Twitter the other day that was taken from what is obviously a one of those tabloid rags, the Daily Star, but it was stating that apparently there is a malfunction in certain current sex bots that will cause them to like go berserk and start choking people.
How do I get one of those? I'm aroused.
Yeah, I don't think they stop choking you though.
I mean, a safe word or something. I'm sure we can figure something out.
Well, it's like about 15 years ago, there was a mine in Australia that started automating their haul trucks, right? And it's not difficult to do. It's just a couple of solenoids you got to switch out. But there's about a 1 in 100 chance that that those haul trucks will go berserk and try to kill people, because apparently that's happened.
Mm-mm.
And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a haul truck, but they're huge. They're huge. Their front tire is the size of a semi cab.
Bro,
They're massive.
in mining country, we have some of the largest earth movers on earth.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm in open pit mining country myself. We've got them all over the place here. They're massive, and they've got even bigger ones in Australia, and some of them are robots. You know, like these
No,
things
you
could drive over a 2-story building and barely feel it.
No, it couldn't. No, it couldn't. Because it wouldn't make it to that 2-story building. That thing gets about 12 gallons to the mile, dude.
Mm.
Oh, that's fair. It'd run out of fuel beforehand. But if you filled it up right in front of the building,
Drop it there. Set it next to it.
On abilities now, you go into keyboard commands on real life. That's not going to work.
Yeah, maximum overdrive is a good. I mean, we're less worried about radiation from a stray comet turning everything against us, but
Night of the Comet. That is a horrible movie. I love it.
So I am somewhat concerned about this because like I said, I've watched way too many movies from the 80s, and Asimov himself was warning us about this over 70 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee these fuckers in Silicon Valley are not implementing his 3 laws of robotics or anything of the kind. This is a very...
Yeah, sure they are. No, you're wrong. They are certainly instituting some sort of a censorship on the AI's capability of utilizing language because they're blocking all of the SJW terms.
I mean, yeah, but what I'm talking about is more like the safety feature, like robot shall not
nobody cares about
harm
safety.
human.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem. And these guys are like, oh well, hey, let's see if we can do this thing without ever contemplating whether or not they should do the thing.
All right, Jeff, calm down. So here's my take on it. These are the same people passing laws against you having weapons to defend yourself with while allowing the people who utilize the weapons illegally to go free into the streets. You don't honestly think they're doing anything involving your safety. They're more worried about their feelings than your safety.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, they're not worried about my feelings. Nobody's worried about
Ex Bootlegger says my safe word is ouch.
Yeah, it's gonna cut your session pretty short there, buddy. Where did you think I was gonna go with that?
I just have images in my brain is all.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Always told
So-
my
AI Kegels.
talking head on TV.
Yeah, Kegels.
I ain't got nobody now. I'm sorry, I'm ruining the host. I'll quit.
Anybody else get flashbacks to young Frankenstein when he does that? You got your head all floating there in space, and
Yes.
yeah. So this is bad. This is because they've got warehouses full of these fucking things. If they all come on and all that stuff, I mean, without certain protocols in place, you don't know that this learning capability of theirs won't lead them to the obvious conclusion that human beings are obsolete and should be removed.
That we're a detriment to ourselves.
And them.
For our own good.
I mean, we're just talking like computer think here. God forbid it becomes self-aware.
Yep.
There's one more step here you haven't considered. What if this goes nano? Like, what if this super aware computer, this singularity of thought and consciousness, were to take on the ability to control nanites? Are we dealing with a what's the name of that show? Stargate situation here? Are we going to go out as a
replicators?
That's exactly where my head went when you said that with the
Yeah.
nanites.
See, that's much worse.
Yes.
Well,
It's
it's not inevitable, but it's one of the possible outcomes, just like a world full of paper clips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God, I hate those things.
A bunch of sentient Legos that get more sentient
Yes.
the more of them there are.
Ah.
I mean, computers already work like that. The more of them that you link together into a single network, the smarter the network is. The more processing power it has, the more computing power. So put all of that from like your badass, like top of the line, PC into a Lego, and then put a bunch of those together, and then we have an extinction level event on our hands in short order.
Perhaps. I question a AI's ability for actual original thought. And I do not question an AI's ability to realize original thought is necessary. So yeah, Matrix situation.
Right. You know, and that's not good either, because in the Matrix, at least, I mean, they don't wipe humans out, but they do use humans as batteries and force feed them hallucinations.
I think a large portion of that is derived from the necessity of actual, truly original thought, and by keeping all of the humans alive. Because, all right, so we blanked out the sky to keep them from using solar. Solar's not the best interest you could have in as far as energy. That thing would be operating on nuclear and would be doing it in the core. It'd be great. You'd love it. Be like freaking utopia on the surface with no people.
Fair enough. And yeah, solar right now even is notoriously unreliable, and there's about a 70% bleed off of energy stored.
Not only that, this is the worst part. When you after let's say, okay, you spend all the money, you get the big solar field, you install it. The first year you get 80% of your possible wattage. The second year you get 78%. Third year you get 72. Fourth year you get 51. And it goes steadily downhill from there. There is no way to get the return on the investment, because you will never make enough energy to sell to get the money back for the investment, for the batteries, for the panels, for the wires, for all the cooling implements you're going to need.
Yeah, and those panels aren't cheap.
No, they're not. The wire is, though, which is neat.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's as long as you're using standard copper wire, I mean, the price of copper goes up and down, but it's usually reasonable in most situations because, copper is relatively plentiful. That's actually one of the reasons that they stopped using gold in electrical wiring back in the 70s, is because it was just not cost effective. The other reason is that gold, while it's a better conductor than copper by a mile, also tends to catch fire. So yeah, if you're in a house that's older than 1973, maybe get some surge protectors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Grew up in an old clapboard shack that had aluminum wires in it. It's the truth.
Yep. Hey, Clue, if you're available, you got the link. So, but yeah, so this is not good. I don't like this. So the only thing I can think of when I see this is Skynet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I'm going to stand by the fact that you don't need a nefarious, evil, villainous, overarching computer to completely ruin humanity's chances. It can just be deranged, or it could just be following its literal programming.
Yep.
Not plotting the destruction of humans, simply trying to, plot out the proper course for a river in the middle of downtown LA.
Right.
And that's the other problem, is that, forgetting the self-aware thing, because that's obviously a possibility, but it's not it's on the low end of possibilities, as these things go. But who's doing the programming, and what are they being programmed to do?
And why should they be the ones to make the decisions as well?
Here's the part that bothers me. When you're doing that type of really deep programming, you have a tendency of borrowing things from other programs that function on whatever level it is you're programming for. And so the copy paste culture carries over. Who's to say somebody's not going to take like one of these radiant AI concepts and attach it to one of these dump trucks and have it running off like Skyrim looking for skooma?
Real quick, so UK Medic says farmers here have decided there's more money in fields of solar panels instead of crops. Great, you can starve in the dark.
There you go.
Yay.
Say what you do, man. You want to make
That
a mint?
seems Yeah, that seems not good.
No, you want to make a mint in the UK? I'll tell you exactly how to do it. Go and build you a pigeon house. It's a round house where you can push a wheelbarrow in and collect all the pigeon poop, and you will make a mint. Build 30 of them. You can sell the pigeon poop for a freaking premium right now. It's the most beautiful stuff you ever grewed with. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, that's the solar panel thing. That's not going to work out. That's
Nope.
It
Well,
was never
even-
cost effective. The wind farm shit was even worse. It was far more expensive, and it was even less effective at gathering and storing energy, and unreliable too. Because I mean, there are days when the wind doesn't blow, and these are basically giant pinwheels.
Mhm.
But if you figure the blade itself is about 180 feet long, right? You know how much force it takes to move something like that.
That means the tip of that blade's running just a hair under the speed of sound.
Yes, it is.
Although I feel like they should all just be where you're at because the wind never stops there, Sam.
Yeah, but we don't want them because
I
we're
know.
coal country and fuck with wind power.
Yeah.
Like
Valid.
we'll go nuclear. We have no problem with nuclear out here.
I have a nuclear
Wind
plant
power is
too
stupid.
far away. Yeah, nuclear's good. It's clean. Daughter elements can be used in other nuclear plant. Same for experimentation and science. It's actually a pretty good system.
Well, and with solar panels, they'll go bad, but then they're not recyclable, right? Like there's no way to dispose of them, as far as I'm aware.
Depends on the panels themselves. Like the monocellular ones are a bit more toxic than the bicrystalline or whatever they're called. The other ones that exist, but the bicrystalline ones are capable of being recycled into new bicrystalline things, whereas the monocrystalline ones, I don't think you can. I think you just basically have to break it down,
Yeah.
shred it.
Yeah. Even the wind turbines, they're not what you'd call biodegradable either.
Yeah.
And they're made from less than green sourced materials. And so and they do break down and they do need to be replaced periodically. So what happens to those things? Well, they become landfills.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Green
That's
energy, everybody.
exactly what happens to them. Yep, green energy. And they're leaking shit like cadmium into the soil and stuff.
Yep.
I mean, it's awesome.
Can we take a little jaunt over into the truly toxic, where we start talking about these high capacity, high recharge rate batteries that are designed to be useful for about 5 years, and they're supposed to be replaced by the shocking new thing that they're going to figure out later?
Yep.
Lithium's scary. I once saw a lithium computer, the battery bank in a basic laptop, go thermal for some weird reason in a trailer, with a little construction trailer. That thing burned through the surface of the desk, through the other 3 computers in the drawer in the desk, through the drawer, through the floor, and was working its way through the central I-beam in that trailer when the fire department showed up, started putting water on it.
It's alien blood.
Well, I mean, there were like a stack of lithium batteries, right? There was 3 laptops in the drawer. So, I mean, but at the same time, we didn't understand what was going on because we used our fire extinguisher and that just wasn't cutting it.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you do?
Right.
So excuse me for just a second. Don't smoke, kids. It's not good for you.
And if you do, just quit.
I could do that, but I'm an addict and I don't want to.
I'm judging you harshly.
Daddy didn't raise no
I believe
quitter.
him.
Hey, look, I quit crystal meth. I can keep the smokes.
I quit crystal meth. I quit
Very well.
heroin. I quit opiates. I quit all kinds of stuff, honey. Let me have my little death nails, all right?
Yeah. So
Fine.
in other news, Neuralink has announced human trials soon. First human patient will soon receive a Neuralink device. This ultimately has the potential to restore full body movement in the long term. Neuralink hopes to play a role in AI civilizational risk reduction by improving human to AI and human to human bandwidth by several orders of magnitude. Imagine if Stephen Hawking had this. If Stephen Hawking had this, he'd be the queen of the fucking board.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the show tonight.
Hey, Clue.
Yeah, what's up, everybody?
Hello.
Clue, let me ask you: Would you let the father of the first Mars colony, as he wants to be, put a chip in your brain?
No. I would not let that happen. I don't see anything good coming from that.
Nor do I. I mean, I kind of understand some of the medical possibilities, the applications, like maybe repairing the gap between severed nerve endings, kind of thing. Like I could see that there are potential benefits to this, but I also understand human nature, and that is not how this is going to go.
It's not worth the risk. You got to weigh those, and there's absolutely no way.
It's like, what else are they going to put? What are they going to program that chip to do that we don't know? They don't have a history of being transparent.
Yep.
You ever seen RoboCop?
Yes, many times.
That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, but there will be a bunch of them, and they'll be all linked through Wi-Fi.
Take RoboCop and Chappie, put it together as
I like Chappie.
I like Chappie too, but it was a nightmare dystopia.
Yeah, but that's how where this is ultimately gonna end up, is if we all connect our brains. Like, I understand the vision that he has and what he wants to accomplish with this. He's looking to bring people closer together, and not in an
That's what social media
way.
Social media was supposed to do that, and what did it do? Isolate us more.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. But this will be like having social media in your brain all the time, ads and everything.
Oh God, that's a nightmare.
Mm-mm.
Did you guys ever see or read Altered Carbon?
Negative.
Both.
Okay, so you should, first of all, watch the first season or read all 3 books. Don't watch the second season; that's garbage.
Love when that happens.
I loved it all, but when I was a Kovacs nut before it ever started. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I watched the first season and I was like, oh, this is really interesting. This is a very cool character. I want to learn more about this. So I read all 3 books, and immediately after watched the second season, and I'm like, this is a mishmash of 2 of the books with a bunch of shit torn from like before the first book happens, and all just like mashed together in a way that doesn't make any fucking sense. I hated the second season.
Okay.
But that aside,
but I love the hotel.
They skipped over tons of stuff.
Okay, we're getting off point. What were you getting at?
Yeah. Okay, so in this, they everybody walks around with a chip like this, like with an implant in their bodies, because basically what happens is like your consciousness is downloaded in what they call a stack, which is like a disc that inserts into your neck, right into the vertebrae, and that is where your consciousness is stored. So that if you get killed or damaged in any way, you can upload your consciousness into a new fleshy body. Right, so people are bouncing around in between bodies all the time, but all of them are come equipped with certain things, like little neural interfaces that allow, if you're in a certain neighborhood, a commercial district, maybe you're going to start seeing holographic commercials tailored specifically to you pop up before your very eyes as you walk down the street. It's nightmarish. That's where they're going with this.
And there's people that think that's a plus, that they want those things. I don't understand those people at all.
Yeah. Got to make them dollar bills, y'all, even when they're credits.
Yep. I don't like the idea of being tracked, period. Because that's what this whole digital dollar is going to do. It's going to track.
Tracking's all part of it, bro. It doesn't matter where you go or what you do. When you walk into a place and you use your digital pen to do your digital thing, not only are they going to know where you're going, what you're doing, what you're buying, how much of it, they can probably deduce out using AI why you bought it, what you're planning, where you're going, and when your next poop is going to be. So
Facebook already knows when I'm going to poop, and I don't even have Facebook. Never have. Everybody else I know does, though. So they've got a profile on me too. I mean, I hope they enjoy. You know, sometimes I take my time just to mess with their algorithm a little bit.
I was just to say, do you ever just mess with your FBI guy?
Yeah.
Just sit around and talk to him through your phone without it actually calling anybody?
Well, you know, they're watching everything. Like, we get these little cams on our computers now and on our phones and everything, and all the devices that we use to do what we do here on the internet. Those aren't. It's entirely possible that there's somebody sitting down in a 3-letter agency office right now watching what I'm doing and saying right at this moment.
And
So-
if they are, I want you to know to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Make
Absolutely.
yourself
But also,
useful.
you know, on occasion, just to mess with them and maybe, you know, give them a little treat, right? I'll put some rose petals out and some candles on and some Sade, and you know, I do my daily constitutional there, and I hope they enjoy the motherfucking show.
Yeah, Sade will get it going.
Yeah.
You know what I do, right? I put Legion Talks on the big screen.
Oh no.
I don't think he wants you to do that.
I got a new Kohai sent me a new image. If you want, man, I'll email this to you. You can use this. It's fucked up.
That's gorgeous.
She is brutal. She is brutal.
That's gorgeous. That is nice.
That's
Thank you.
that's the second time I've shown that thing live, and he's still not here to witness it. And
I'm glad I could be a part of shaping him properly. This makes my nipples hard.
well, Shadow, I don't know what to tell you, man. You know what kind of show I run here. I don't know why the fuck you're watching this and eating. So yeah, that was from Kohai Masochist in the chat. She's our demon memer. She does all kinds of awful things to people with the memes. It's usually a good time, usually. For most
As
of us.
memes should be.
Yeah. I got one for Nomi too. And again, I've shown this. This will be the second time that I've shown this, and she's not here to appreciate it. So last week she was out shopping and she spilled a bag full of beans all over the grocery aisle.
Right. That's good.
No beans without you.
That's ridiculous.
Pretty racist,
it's-
but it's also pretty good.
I mean, it's funnier because she's Mexican.
No, that's what makes it racist. See, racism is humor inverted. Whenever I tell you a joke, if I start joking with you, you will start laughing. As long as you're not DM Foss, you'll start laughing.
Right.
Or Tildar Hobble Squatch. These two people are just having ironclad, like they're not going to smile. They won't do it. Anyway, it's an involuntary response. You don't get to make the choice of whether or not you laugh. And when you make a joke that's truly funny and also off color, it makes the people who laugh think about themselves in a very self-conscious way that they don't like. And that's why some people get angry about jokes. Oh no, I'm racist. I laughed at that. But no, it was funny.
Yeah, you laughed at it because it was funny.
Right.
It might have also been racist, but it was certainly funny.
I mean, if everybody's laughing and nobody's mad, does it matter if it was racist?
Nah.
HR heard it.
Well, don't tell it to HR.
HR's there. HR is always there. You know it. I know it. There it is.
Fucking HR.
Yeah, you got to be real careful with HR, with what you say and what you do, and how you respond to things they say.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if they're thirsty.
Life hack message. Listen.
Yeah. Don't get involved with your HR rep. It's not a good idea. Don't even flirt with them. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
No.
I don't know if
No.
I've ever met a male HR rep. So
I had a female HR rep that was about 55, and I got her giggling one day, and we were standing next to the break room, and she started laughing, and she laughed harder, and then she laughed her teeth right out into her glass. And
Oh, gross.
And then I was fired.
I had an HR rep who found out that my one of my sisters runs a sex toy shop, and by the end of that meeting, I had ended up being talked into giving said HR rep my sister's card.
oh wow.
And then I walked out of that room, and we never spoke about it again.
A customer.
Apparently a loyal customer too.
Yeah, it's like it's awkward now. I see her and I go the other direction. I was like, oh nope, I'm not opening that can of worms.
Well, Strictly Strange, I got a question. Are they like the power suit wearing lesbians with long hair, or the ones that look like lumberjacks that wear flannel and like overalls? 'Cause
Actually,
these are two very different lesbians.
Oh no. So this particular HR rep is not in fact gay, and she is she's older than I am. I don't know exactly how old because I didn't ask, because you don't do that. But she is very fit and toned and tight and straight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta get out of this room before something untoward happens. It's gonna cost me my goddamn career. So yeah, for those of you out there who are young and getting into the workforce, don't fuck around with HR. Just don't do it. It's not smart. I mean, there's obviously the rule. The rule is you don't dip your pen in the company inkwell, right? And every once in a while, people bend that rule, and it almost always ends badly. Now imagine how much worse that would be if it was your HR rep.
Mm-hmm.
So just don't do it. It's not good. If I could take that card back, I would.
Okay, so this is the universal hot crazy.
The hot to crazy scale, huh?
Yeah, I've got a show right after this.
My uncle tagged me in that on Facebook because of the end and what's my name.
Yeah, no one named Tiff. That's a stripper name. Nicole, anyone named Destiny or Celeste or Ivy. Jade, yes, he's correct. Anytime you walk into a strip club and there are more titties than teeth in that room, you should leave immediately.
It's funny that you say that Tiff is a stripper name, because my mom wanted to name me Dusty Rose.
Oh wow.
I thank God.
Well,
every
you
day for my
dodged that
dad.
pole by just this much, didn't you?
I was just like,
That's what I mean. That was offensive, and at the same time, it was also funny. You see, no one out there laughing right now could control it. The rest of you are sitting around fuming, thinking that I should stop it. And there's a percentage of y'all that wants a white knight immediately, and it's not going to work. We're on too many different.
Strictly Strange here is taking notes.
life advice.
Yeah. Don't dip your pen in the company inkwell, and don't stick your dick in crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But crazy sometimes be the best. That'd be the best, the best sex. Crazy.
Yes, that's true. Once.
There's a
The next
reason.
day, however, when she's bashing your head in with a fucking toaster oven.
She's pulling
Yeah. Or you wake up with like all of your organs have been stabbed in alphabetical order.
Hey, that's a little too specific. You know something?
Right?
Look,
What
I
happened to
give
you?
advice. I don't follow advice.
Yeah. You're not as I do, bro.
Yeah. No, I make mistakes periodically, a lot more frequently than I'm willing to admit.
No, perish the thought.
We all
Let's
make
do a
mistakes.
topic around here somewhere. Where did we leave that thing?
Oh yeah, no, I've got a few topics, but really the
Something about security or something like that.
it was
Putting a chip in your brain.
Yeah.
human trials. They're starting human trials for Neuralink as we speak.
I just
I
can't
I
imagine
don't like the way that's going.
signed off on that. Like, you won't sue us for side effects. Like, I'm sure they went to a low-income neighborhood. That's how I see all of those.
Prisoners. They're using prisoners.
No, yeah, there's that
I
too.
think. Am I right? I think that's right. I read that somewhere. Where did I read that? I don't remember, but I read it.
I had heard that too, and I think somebody in chat said that earlier that it was supposed to be prisoners they were testing.
Boy,
on, which,
that's not
by the
where I
way,
read it.
like which prisoners are we talking about? Like prisoners in U.S. prisons?
Right.
Good luck.
Because they still have basic human fucking rights, and one
Or
of
is
those
it
is
like
like unless
speakers?
if they're volunteering in order to get a lesser sentence, I understand that. But if they're being volunteered because they're prisoners and they can't vote to say no, that's fucked up.
Yeah, the voluntold doesn't exactly
I
bode
like
well. Military.
Yeah.
It's a con.
Real quick. Yeah, I've lived a life. There's stuff that I will tell you guys and stuff that you will never hear.
Right? Right? Yeah, I didn't go from poor pig farmer to where I'm at now by being nice.
Yeah, you can't just open the book of my life in the middle and expect to know me, woman.
Well, when you died, enough to base a movie on? Yeah, it's rated X.
So yeah, no, but I don't think they should. I suppose I would need to know more about the circumstances if they are in fact using prisoners for this. Like, how exactly is this working? Are they doing this to shave time off, or because they're actually volunteering because there's some benefit in them for them, or are they just being told to do it, or maybe not even told? Maybe they're just knocking them out and fucking implanting them, which is even worse.
Right.
Well, see now because of the dress rehearsal that we had in 2020, you can actually sell something and say you can't sue us. You just got to take it. You can't sue us if it fucks you up. Because this happened before in 2020, and people took it.
Mm-hmm.
See, strictly strange, right there. The 8th Amendment should cover that. It should.
Well, and that begs the question, are the trials in the U.S.? Because at least a decade ago in Japan, prisons were just hovels with rice and water.
Right, but that's the thing in the U.S., right? Somebody goes to jail or they go to prison or whatever. Yes, they lose certain rights.
Right.
They lose the right to own, keep and own firearms.
Which
for
once they're done with
reasons.
their time, they have served their time.
I think that after they've served their time, there should be a period of where they've proven that they're reformed.
Yes.
But after that, I think they should be able to get their rights back. They lose the right to vote. They lose certain other rights, but they're still taxed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And they still have all of that going for them.
Ostensibly,
But other
they
than
still
that,
have the Fifth Amendment and the Fourth Amendment, but they have their Second Amendment abbreviated, and to some extent their First Amendment, depending on what they're talking about.
Yep. But the 8th Amendment should never be abridged. That's they shouldn't be doing fucking experiments on prisoners. Right. I mean, just because they've got a captive fucking pool.
Like, were nothing.
No, well, that was
slightly different.
That was for the Germans.
Or should I mention MK Ultra?
Yeah.
What about Unit 731? Didn't we get almost all of those records just wholesale?
I don't think I heard about that.
Yeah.
Bro.
You might need to send
Go
me some
take
resources.
a little looky-loo into Unit 731 during and after the Second World War. First of all, this was a branch of the Japanese military that performed war crimes as a matter of course. It was in their charter. Terror. Second of all, not a one of them that I'm aware of actually was served up for war crimes after the war. They all just disappeared.
Interesting.
Go check it out. It's good stuff.
I might have to do that. Send me some links or something, and I'll go through that. That sounds interesting. But yeah, that's basic fucking human rights. Is like you don't get shit, like you don't get turned into a mindless cyborg, which is where this is going. Like we're gonna end up the fucking Borg here. Everybody's gonna be linked into the same hive fucking mind, all the time. We will all have our specific tasks that I'm
gonna be honest,
perform.
Y'all aren't gonna like this. Once y'all attach to my brain, y'all are all gonna have so many problems. Sorry.
See, that's the thing, Squatch, is that everybody on Earth has problems, right? This will expose us to all of them at once, all the time. That's not good. That's a recipe for absolute disaster.
So it's like Twitter on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainlining
directly
Twitter
behind your eyelids.
God, I don't even want to be in my own head half the time. Add everyone else. I don't need to know their thoughts.
Yeah, I always thought the superhero power of mind reading is torture. That's not a power.
Yeah.
That's torture. I wouldn't want that.
Yeah. No, it's a curse. Yeah, you just walk down. Like, did you guys ever see a little Mel Gibson romantic comedy called "What Women Want"?
Yeah, it was a curse for him.
fucking nightmare there, bud.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I used romantic comedy in air quotes because it was a horrifying movie.
that is the male dystopian nightmare. You think you want what women think? No,
you don't.
No, you don't. No.
And I think Heroes covered it a little bit with the Parkman character.
I like that one. I loved Heroes, dude.
Heroes was the shit. It was the shit.
Dude, I used to take off time from work. I would straight leave work, clock out, leave work, go home, watch Heroes, come back, and clock back in.
Nice.
I was
It covered the science aspect of being a superhero more than any other story did.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting, but it did give rise to certain ideas about like what this sort of thing is actually like. Like Isaac the painter, all he sees is visions of doomsday. So he paints visions of doomsday. Like that's what lives in his head all the time.
And that's why he's a drug addict and an alcoholic and unreliable. Yeah. All of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it fucks him up right up until he gets his brain taken out by Sylar, who then takes that power, and Sylar was kind of batshit to begin with, and that did not help.
Dude, Sylar was one of my favorite characters.
It was a great character played by Zachary Quinto. If y'all in the chat have not watched Heroes, watch the first 3 seasons. I like the 4th season, but there are those who will say that it wasn't great.
Something to keep in mind about Heroes, the series. Whenever you're watching it, a similar Screen Actors Guild strike to the writer's strike that's happening now. Similar sort of thing happened right towards the middle of the 3rd season.
You can tell.
You can totally tell. Everything after that's trash.
Yeah, it's funny when you go back and watch old shows like that, you can tell when things changed or had a hiccup.
Jump the shark.
Wait, hold up. So Beelzebub here, my good buddy Devil made me do it. If girls could hear what went on in men's heads, they would break away and make their own country where we were for Biden.
Forbidden.
For Biden. No, he's for Biden. He just mono state of women, an a matriarchal mono state that only votes for Biden.
No, I know what you was saying there. It's just the break in the word was I just couldn't let that
Too
pass.
good to, yeah.
Yeah. Greetings, MSK. Good to see you, buddy. We're all in the void all the time. That's the thing us eldritch entities understand that no one else does, is that this is the void. And there's no escape.
That's depressing.
Oh, good, because I didn't have anything else planned.
Don't think it's gonna get better.
Nope.
No, not at all.
I'm just waiting for the cold death of the universe. I mean, entropy.
Will it be a
wins.
cold death? I mean, I've heard tell it would be a hot death, like a heat
A boiling
death, like,
one. might
How?
say.
If everything
That I
is
don't understand.
expanding, where's the heat coming from? As I
Possibly
understand,
because
it's cold in there.
Maybe we're gonna
Okay,
head
so-
toward the sun, like a straight shot toward the sun.
So bear with me on this. So when you set off a nuke, right? What happens?
I've got that on tape if you'd like to see it.
Right? It expands rapidly and then
Yeah.
it compresses and then it expands again.
Yeah, like the square root of light or some shit like that.
Right. So hear me out. Perhaps existence as we know it, the ever expanding universe, is merely in that expansion phase. But everything's gonna snap back to a singular point at some point, which would create a lot of heat.
By what power?
I don't know. Physics?
What's
Astrophysics? God's physics?
Oh, well, as long as there's a creator involved, I'm on board because I'm on his side.
You know.
Quantum physics.
I mean, what if we're all just just some cosmic entity's fart?
Okay, I'm good with that. It's flying spaghetti Martha hurt that I exist. I'm just happy I'm here. I mean, the way I see it is God looks down from wherever he might be, and I look down on an ant, and the ant cannot conceive of me and what I'm doing and where I'm going. Why would God have any freaking clue about me? Even if he exists, if he doesn't exist, you'll never know unless he steps on you.
That's true.
That might be what's
Yeah.
coming.
Might
For
be.
all of us, yes.
It might be. Of course,
can it happen after I'm dead?
Pretty sure that's
I would
it.
like to tap out.
Tap out.
yeah. I'm just gonna go be over here. You guys do your thing.
You guys, I'm going home.
Just dismiss me with all of that. I don't think that's how it works, Clue.
Oh, I'm going to be busy that day. See, my mama.
I can't participate.
But y'all have fun.
Dennis Bowles, we don't we're looking at it from our perspective, right? Which is limited.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's conceivable, barely, but it is conceivable that perhaps there is a cosmic rubber band effect, but it's too big for us to, our civilization will have been born, lived, and died, and been long forgotten before it begins to snap back. We have no way of proving that one way or the other, but
Just like modern science.
My observation is that using current mathematical advances in our knowledge of the universe, it's probably just going to keep spiraling out until it runs out of juice. Cold death. Besides, that makes me right and you wrong, and we get to have that conversation in the afterlife. Sitting around, what did I
Smoking
feel
a
like?
cigar. Hey,
What?
remember?
see that presupposes that the afterlife is not part of all of this.
You
Not
think
even
heaven and hell is on Earth?
No, I'm just saying that heaven and hell probably exist within the confines of the universe.
So can we go there in a rocket ship?
Let me put it this way: existence, because we think of heaven and hell as real, tangible places, right?
Right.
So if they're real tangible places, even if they're not necessarily on the same plane of existence, so we are say they're in a parallel universe, right? Or an adjacent one, or, you know, like whatever string theory nonsense you want to throw into there. It's conceivable that once all existence just stops, then so do they.
This is
Because
very
they're a form of
existential.
existence, are they not?
Isn't this one of those I think, therefore I am moments? Are we getting slopsolistic here? Slopsolistic.
Slopsolistic.
Thank you. Somebody else. I'm from Georgia. We don't do that.
I mean, it's just a thought. It's the
Well,
kind of
and
thought that keeps me awake at night, but it's a thought.
Stop it.
Em,
those are the
haven't
thoughts that
seen
hurt
you in
my
a
head.
minute. Hello. Yeah,
Well, thank you.
that's kind of my whole shtick is thinking about this stuff and then making other people suffer through it.
Existential
good.
crises.
I thought it was just me. I go and find terrible videos on YouTube and then make people watch them with me.
Yeah.
They do it willingly. They tune in every time. I have no idea why. I'm so confused.
Speaking of confusing and weird, there's a little video with a man who claims he found an alternative treatment to cancer in the form of dog dewormer.
Is Joe Biden finally delivering on his cure for cancer because we elected him president in a fair and balanced and totally free of shenanigans election?
I mean,
If I
that's all
understand
he's
it
done
correctly.
is kept those promises. Because
It's been a few days since
he
I
was the
watched
most
this, but-
popular president of all time. 81 million votes.
Sure, but I'm pretty sure he's not in this video.
If the dogs cured your cancer, you better be ready for some skeptics. But Joe Tippin says it did save his life and others. And now even cancer researchers are open to the possibility it might be true.
My neck, my liver, my pancreas, my bladder, in my bones, it was everywhere.
2 years ago, Joe Tippin says he was told to go home, call hospice, and say his goodbyes. The doctors were unanimous. He was going to die of small cell lung cancer.
Once that kind of cancer goes that far afield, the odds of survival are less than 1%, and the median life expectancy is 3 months.
Tippin says he went from 220 pounds to 110, but that was January of 2017. Today, Tippins is very much alive, and what he credits for his survival has doctors scratching their heads and the rest of us raising eyebrows.
About half the people think I'm just crazy, and half the people want to know more and dig deeper.
I mean,
Tippin
he's not
says he
dead.
got a tip, not from a pharmacist, but a veterinarian. And in his desperation, he turned from people medicine to dog medicine, specifically fembendazole, or what you give a dog when it has worms.
Truth is stranger than fiction, you know?
Just 3 months later, Tippin says his cancer was gone.
I'm usually skeptical, and I was, and maybe still am about this one. But there's an interesting background to this.
Cancer researchers like Stephen Prescott are skeptical, but they also are not dismissing this anti-parasitic's potential. He says Tippins is not the first person to potentially benefit, and maybe not the last.
Scientists at many credible places have done work on this for years.
But was it the dog dewormer, or was it something else? Tippins took the dog medicine with daily vitamin E supplements and CBD oil. He was also taking an experimental cancer-fighting drug. But Tippin says out of the 1,100 patients on that clinical trial, he was the only one cleared of cancer. Tippin says he was saved by the dog dewormer, and he plans to take it for the rest of his life.
Oh, my insurance company spent $1.2 million on me with traditional means before I switched to a $5 a week medicine that actually saved.
Okay, I had questions, but then they answered them, so that's interesting. Because I was like, did you stop everything and you just took this and magically it went away? Like, where's the control group?
Well, I guess he's the only one that took the dog medicine.
Right. So they answered my question that I had there.
There's one entire field of medicine that is completely uninvestigated for the largest part of history. this is the utilization of chemicals as prophylactics that aren't antibiotics. It's used in malaria treatments. You take quinine and you toxify your blood against the malaria protozoan, amoeba, whatever it is. I can't remember. Protozoan, I think. And there's a whole field of medicine out there that Western medicine just doesn't mess with because it's all preventative.
I have never had COVID, and I listened to Joe Rogan and took vitamin D, and not a single time have I gotten sick since I started taking a certain amount of it.
Immediately thank me. Thank me immediately.
That's my bro. Everybody say hi.
Hi.
I'm going to say it. I'll say it out loud. I got your vitamin D. You didn't thank me for the thing I did not say. I'm sorry. I must apologize.
So I did take zinc for a while. I was actually, I don't know if you know what Z-Stack is, but if you take zinc continuously, you can get sick. And I did start getting sick. So I stopped taking the Z-Stack, and I do 1,000 IU of vitamin C and the 5,000 IU of vitamin D every day. And
I knew those treatments worked because all the doctors that discussed those treatments on YouTube and all the other platforms got blocked. It was hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, zinc, and vitamin D. You talked about that, you lost your channel.
Everybody.
So it must work.
Yeah, that's kind of how I saw it. And this is my story. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not recommending anything.
No, we are not medical professionals. YouTube, we're only speculating.
Yes.
I'm not even actually a comedian. I just play one on YouTube. But I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
You did say where?
At a Holiday Inn Express.
Okay.
Fair enough. But I came across this earlier in the week, and when I was listing potential topics for today in the group chat on Twitter, Legion Talk, who is still late, just saying, but if you're out there listening, get your butt in here.
He's going to make me shed my one-man tear a year.
You got Caucasian Sasquatch over here just ready to rub one out, but he can't do it without his visual aids.
Oh, God.
So anyway, he comes back at me like, he's like, what, like the horse paste? I was like, yeah, but the horse paste worked. I was like, so I don't know if there's anything to this or not, but the man's not dead, and he's saying that that's what he did. Maybe there's something to it.
My treatment was licking doorknobs.
I mean, I tend to look at, is it cheaper? It's probably going to be the one that works, because they don't want that to be the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's natural, and I can't make money off of it and keep the masses down. That doesn't work. Don't do it.
Yeah.
You couldn't sue them. That wasn't the biggest red flag. You can't sue them.
Yep.
Fact is, you couldn't even disagree with them.
Right.
There was some stuff that went down for a little while there that absolutely drove me nuts when they started talking about whether or not sunlight was a disinfectant, and that became medical misinformation. Man, I lost my gizzards. I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I've had COVID at least twice that I know of.
3 times here.
And the first time
I'll tell you my favorite story. It's kind of unique.
Yeah, the first time I was 100% asymptomatic. Didn't even notice it. The second time I got sick so this was during the period when they were telling you that you had to isolate for 10 days straight, and all that shit. And
so were you forced to test? That's how you knew you had it?
Yeah. Well,
I've never even done the test. So I could have had it. Didn't know.
There are multiple tests. They're manufactured by different people. They have different criteria. All of them are inaccurate because they fail to account for the fact that influenza and the common cold are also coronaviruses.
But can't differentiate.
Will you highlight that comment, please? Like,
which comment?
immediately.
Disclaimer?
Yeah, that's a good one. She's good at this. I love her. She's great.
Oh, yeah. Disclaimer for YouTube: everything we're talking about is not real. We are writing a screenplay that we're going to have into a movie. Please don't shut down the internet. Thank you for that. Fair enough.
You're crossing the picket line? No, go ahead.
Yeah. About 4 or 5 days into the isolation, which I did not 100% obey because I had to fucking eat. And also, sunlight is good for you people. You know,
no, it's not.
Go out into the sun.
You're not an expert.
Absorb some vitamin D from the
grass.
fucking rays of the sun.
Not that weird plastic green grass that's out next to your uncle's house. The real grass. Get a bug bite.
I also do want to establish that my brother and I were trying to get it. Like, we went to multiple conventions where we had people surrounding us while taking just vitamin D.
Yeah.
Like,
So
we weren't just in our house. So.
I didn't take anything for it that time. So I get about halfway through the isolation, and the as far as everybody at work knows, the isolation.
Yeah.
And I had about 30 hours of pure suck. Right in the middle. But the rest of the time I felt fine before and after. You know, like it felt like I got hit with a particularly nasty flu. And then I was over it, and that was it.
My sister-in-law visited Southeast Asia, was deported because of emergency conditions being instated, and came through the Atlanta airport over here, stopped by the house on her way to Savannah. And then the whole family went to Disney, and I became dreadfully ill. It almost killed me. I was home alone for a week, and at one point in time I got to the point where I had such heavy congestion in my lungs that I woke up and I felt all nasty. I was like, I'll take a shower. I took a shower. I went, sat down in my chair, and was going to roll me a big old fatty boom batty blunt and lean back and fell asleep. I slept for 24 hours. Woke up, hacked up a big old booger out my lung, and was fine. My pops was just short of sending the cops by to come check on me on a welfare check because he'd done been by the house twice and I ain't answered the door.
So you're saying rest and sunlight.
That
doesn't pay anybody.
I mean, as long as you like, make sure that you, while you're conscious anyway, you hydrate because
fluids.
It'll sap the fucking fluids right out of you. But you know, like I've been deadly sick several times in my life, and every time the cure has always been the same thing. Different forms of illness, same cure. I hibernate for 3 fucking days and I sleep it off.
Yeah.
Come stumbling out of it like a bear out of hibernation.
Yeah. Why does it smell like somebody died in there? Because I almost did.
Almost thing, bro.
Yeah, it was a near thing, but you know, I got through it, and now I've got to air out that room for 6 fucking months.
You know, that's always interesting. Like a 3-day period. I don't know if you've heard of if like there were tests where there was a group of people that were given glasses where everything was upside down, and after a 3-day period, their eyes reverted and everything while they were wearing them were right side up. And then they take the glasses off, another 3-day period, and their body adjusts.
Yeah.
I was just fixing to say that's basically my superpower too, dude.
Yeah, you and me both, man. The number of times I should have died and didn't.
I was working at this window factory, and they bring in these big, huge, enormous truckloads of aluminum stock, right? It comes in like 20-foot long sticks bundled together. There's probably 2 tons of aluminum on this thing. We're rolling the thing off the truck. One of the wheels locks up, and I see the wheel lock up. I jump down in the loading bay and go under the truck and climb out, and then it tips over into the hole. And they're all like, "Oh my God, he's in there!" I didn't know who they were looking for, so I was helping as fast as I could to uncover this guy that was stuck down there, and until they told me that it was me that we were looking for. I was like, no, dude, I pulled out way early on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I once flipped a four-wheeler on the side of a mountain.
Nice.
You know, like there's any way you look at the scenario that actually happened, and there's no way I should be here today. You know, if any one thing had gone even slightly differently, I'd either been crushed under the rolling machine itself or tossed off the side of the fucking mountain. You know, but here we are. And all I got out of it was a bruised hip and, you know, owed my cousin a bunch of money for fucking up his four-wheeler. Turns out a bent fender on one of those things costs about $9,000.
Oh, God.
So,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Lucky for me, I was a minor at the time, and, you know, he couldn't exactly take me to court over it. So, but yeah. Let's see. Bill's a Hub says, I actually do know exactly how many times you were supposed to die. Well, I mean, you're the devil.
He's the devil. He would have that information. Checks it off.
He's down there waiting at the gate with like a bouquet of flowers, and then I show up.
Right.
He's like, stood up again.
I actually heard him laughing.
Right. Elder's powers kept you alive. It's less of a powers thing and more of a natural state of being. You know, we're just better than humans.
Or a Sasquatch.
Yeah. But yeah, so regarding what specifically the man was implying was that taking the dog deworming medication, I forget exactly what the specific medication he said it was. I'm not disinclined to believe him.
Yeah.
Because again, he's still alive. You know?
Yep.
Is it possible that he had a crooked doctor in the first place? It was actually
That is
fine.
possible. Sure.
Giving him placebo or some shit.
Sure. That's absolutely
Maybe
possible.
he
That's
was
one
the
of the
control and the double blind, and you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've always had issue with doctors in general. I'm not a fan of the medical profession. I don't go to hospitals if I can at all help it, unless I'm forced to for whatever reason. Like, say, I get into it with cops and I end up in an ambulance. You know,
That again sounds so specific.
Not that happens very often, or at
Well,
all.
not often.
YouTube.
To say this with me, bro. I do not answer questions.
Yeah. So, but so I don't fuck around with the medical profession. I've set my own bones to avoid going to see a doctor.
Shit.
Ouch.
It's not
I've
smart.
relocated a couple of shoulders. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's actually one of those things you probably should see a doctor for. That was not smart of me. I'm not advocating for that in any way, and it's painful as fuck. And if you don't support it properly, you have to set it more than once. Yeah,
Which is really big owie, in case you didn't. It's more owier than the original owie.
I got a bone in my hand, right, but the long bone behind the pinky that connects to your wrist. It's not shaped right anymore, and my range of motion is pretty fucked there. So, but yeah, so like I will go out of my way to avoid seeing professionals. But after the events of the last 3-4 years, right? Like here's the deal, folks. It's like, yes, there are good doctors out there. Yes, there are people who want to help people, who want to heal people. They do exist. The problem is so do the other assholes who want to make a buck, who want to push shit into you that you don't need, who want nothing but profit and misery for the rest of the world. And there are a few of them who are even more like, hey, let's see what happens if we just start pushing shit into people. It's not even about profit. They're more of the Mengele variety. Because they exist, I have to take it that if there's even a chance that the doctor I'm talking to is one of those people, even if he's the greatest, most honest, best doctor in the world and would never do anything to me like that, I cannot assume that. I have to assume that I cannot trust him.
I get it. I got
I have
lucky.
an issue with a mechanic being a professional, but a doctor having a practice.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
How'd that go in Firefly? It's just like, you know, they make shrinks get psychoanalyzed before they're licensed, but you know, they don't make doctors get cut on.
Right. That's from a Serenity. Yeah.
Does that seem right to you?
Does that seem right to you? No, I'm not a lion.
Yeah. So, you know, and it's like, look, if you trust your doctor, if you know your doctor and all that stuff, and you have no, you know, reason to believe that they would, you know, do anything, they would inject you with something, say like an mRNA shot when they're telling you that it's a flu shot because it is flu season, right? If you assume, if you know that that's not the case, by all means, I cannot assume that.
I don't even get the flu shot. 4 years out of my life, I got the flu shot because that was when I was active duty.
You got sick every time too, didn't you?
No, but I've had a really good immune system.
Oh,
I
fair
could
enough.
have gotten sick, but I don't really remember it. I drank those days away. So those brain cells don't. That's where my memory goes. It's that general period of time. But yeah, my mom didn't, growing up, she didn't essentially believe in the flu shot. And now here I am, and I'm just like, no, thank you. But
See,
luckily,
I'm right there with you. I don't take
Yeah.
the flu shot either. The only times I have ever taken a flu shot in my entire life, every single time I've gotten sick. When I don't take the flu shot, I got a 50-50 chance of not getting sick.
Yeah.
Like just the math alone is enough to prevent me from taking that. Yeah.
I go to the doctor once a year, and it's literally because I want to get a discount on my medical. And they take my blood and they analyze it. And my doctor's name is Dr. Quinn. So
Medicine woman.
basically, the way they pick which flu shot they're going to mass produce this year is they take the top dozen influenza strains that are currently running around in the world. They throw it in a hat and pull out 4.
I was just throwing a dart
Yeah.
on the wall.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way of knowing which one's actually going to have legs. So you're
It's like
just
they
taking-
manufacture it.
Well, and it
It's that way.
continually, like all viruses do it continually evolves. You know, there's no
Yeah.
guarantee that anything that's in the flu shot is going to affect what's out there now. It
Yep.
may be evolved past that at this point. We don't know. And the more we throw these things at it, like we have not eradicated the flu virus, right? It has only ever changed and evolved, and we've
And we
had
never
to
will.
adapt to keep up with it, not the other way around.
Right.
Until and unless we eradicate the virus, right, we're always going to be a step behind on it. You know, and the more that we push like different treatments, different vaccines, and all that stuff, the more we adapt our immune systems to like the current thing, and then it mutates into another thing. The more we're pushing it to evolve into a more perfect virus.
I agree. That's why you should definitely invest in phage therapy.
Yeah. So that's been the issue for me. You know, it's like it's also an issue because antibiotics are going to stop working all across the board soon. We apply antibiotics to everything.
Yeah.
When they should have only been used for specific life-threatening things, for things like open surgeries, for you know, obviously life-threatening infections, that kind of thing. But like we apply it to literally everything, and because of that, you know, especially like when was the last time you were prescribed penicillin? It doesn't work anymore. You know, we are
Yeah.
our immune systems are dependent on them, and the viruses are becoming and the bacteria are becoming immune to them. Yeah, and there's going to come a point where we'll have to go back to the good old days of pouring alcohol and open fucking wounds.
Hot poker.
Because, yeah,
I'm all
you know,
for that, honestly.
Yeah, let's
and we're
do
going
it.
to see
Dude,
a
I have the
drastic
best
rise
art.
in we're going to see another drastic rise in surgical deaths, like on table deaths just due to infection. We're going to go
Yeah.
back to the fucking dark ages as far as the medical industry is concerned, because we overused and over relied upon antibiotics. And there's going to come a point, and it's not going to be that far from now, where they're just not going to work anymore.
Working. Yeah.
So, not to doom pill everybody, but look forward to that.
Where the void
On
screams.
a happy note.
In a world with no light, heat, nor love.
I mean, there's loving, but it's of the dolphin variety.
Oh, hey, that's sexy. I think you got the right crowd here, bud. Definitely my chat. They're going to be all over that. They now want me to do a show on dolphins having sex with people, I'm sure.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Struggle
That's the way my luck goes.
Yeah. We got to struggle snuggle for the cuddle puddle.
There you go. Make sure it's squishy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And moist.
I mean, as long as there's not a snail trail.
Yeah.
Oh, look, man. Snail trails have their place. On your
Not
legs.
Like, yes, they don't. Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm
that got gross
apologizing. I really shouldn't have been let out of my cage early.
Yeah, well, man, it's been a minute since we had you on the show, and yeah,
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I'd keep me away from my show too if I could. I mean, no plans work when I'm around. I improv everything. I ad lib everything all the time. So, like, I'm doing a show with Captain Curmudgeon tomorrow. The plans are he's going to do this speech, and he has a few topical things, and I'm going to be me for 30 minutes. I got a couple of videos. I'm going to laugh at those people.
Yeah. So
works.
It does. So it does. Sometimes things just work. So do you guys know who Christine Anderson is? She's I believe she's an elected official in Italy. I want to say Italy. I'm probably wrong about that. Anderson doesn't sound like Italy. Anderson sounds Northern European. I know she's European. She's an elected member in Europe and part of the
give me
whole
the name.
UN.
What was the name?
MEP Christine Anderson. I don't know why I don't have this pulled up in front of me myself. Apparently, I'm super ill prepared today, guys. Sorry, Chad.
Not as poorly prepared as Beelzebub and I were last night.
Yeah, how'd that go? I haven't had a chance to watch that yet.
We basically bullied Dermy into going on like a live stream where he drove around and almost ran out of gas and almost drove his car into the lake on purpose.
All right.
For money.
Here we go. Christine Marguerite Anderson, born 29th July 1968, is a German politician who has served as member of the European Parliament since 2019. A member of the Alternative for Germany, AfD, Anderson has been described as a supporter of the Pegida movement. Pegida? It's one of those German words. I'm not going to hurt myself.
Yeah.
She's a fruit. Dude.
Yeah.
She's a total fruit. I'm looking at some of this stuff.
Well, now I'm intrigued.
Right. So she said something, and we're going to play the whole thing and consequences be damned, because I think what she says here is important and needs to be heard in its entirety. All right.
We just need to find a way to wake the people up, because the point is simply this. It comes down to a choice. It's either freedom, democracy, and the rule of law, or enslavement. There is no such thing in between. There is no such thing as a little freedom, a little democracy, a little rule of law, just as there is no such thing as a little enslavement. So that's the choice. It comes down to it's either the globalitarian misanthropists or the people. It comes down to it's either us or them. And that's, I think, what this really is all about. Now, when my colleagues and I were elected to this parliament, there was no question about it. We were on the side of the people because the people actually pay us to act in their best interest. That's our job. And once again, I will say to every single elected representative around the world, to every single member in every elected government around the world, if you do not unequivocally stand with the people and serve in their best interest, act in their best interest, you have no place in any parliament or in any government. You belong behind bars. You may even rot in hell for all I care at this point, because that's exactly what you deserve if you sell out the people. Now I would like to make a promise to the people, and I'm pretty sure I can speak on behalf of my colleagues. We will continue to stand with you, the people. We will continue to fight for freedom, democracy, and the rule of law. We will not shut up, and we will not stop going after those despicable globalitarian misanthropists. But we would also like to have you make a promise to us. You may have heard, it's all coming back. The first countries are already starting about talking mask mandates in Israel. They're already imposing it. I've heard of a few universities in the United States. They're already bringing it all back. And I would really like for you, the people, to not go along. Simply say no. They want you to wear a mask? Say no. They want you to put in another mRNA shot? Say no. They want to impose a curfew on you? Say no. That's really all you have to do. And might not be, or it might sound a little hard, but it's actually not that hard. Because once you've made it clear to them that you will no longer go along, once you've let them know they cannot scare you anymore. Because as long as you're afraid of what they might do, if you don't comply, they have power over you. Take the power away from them. Simply say no. Once you do that, they don't have power over you anymore. You will feel so free. Simply say no. And considering what we've heard today, and considering what we've seen in the last 3 years, considering what we know they want to implement, heck, you might even be well within your right to tell them to screw themselves and go to hell. That's where they belong. What will you get out of that? I can tell you. Once you've done that, once you've told them to just go to hell, they no longer have power over you, you will have an incredible feeling. Kind of like a sensation of freedom will swap through your body. I promise. You will feel so relieved. And this is the state of mind that I would ask all of you to get to. Simply don't let them grind you down anymore. You are worth it. You are deserving of just standing up for yourselves and tell them all to go to hell. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Is she still breathing?
But
Yes, yes, she is.
For how long?
Quite powerful. Quite powerful.
She vaguely reminds me of the Wicked Witch of the West.
She's
I'll get you, my pretty. And your
She
little
is-
coat
she is-
jabber too.
She's not wrong, though, and this is the important thing to take away from this. Whether or not the European Parliament holds any power, and I saw in chat that somebody said that this very woman has admitted that they don't have any real power. Whether or not they have any real power, whether or not Congress is on the up and up, whether or not, you know, the CCP is grinding its fucking citizens down, it comes down to one thing. They only have the power that we give them.
Yeah.
Just say no. Y'all remember that campaign? Just say no. Just say no to government.
Did it for the first 3 years. Just continue doing what I'm doing. I don't do masks and all that shit. All that fairy tale shit. I don't do it.
So he abolished the Board of Education, the FBI, and the DOJ.
CIA,
Yeah.
DHS.
So, yeah, but I mean that's what she's dead. She's dead on balls accurate about this. If they come to lock you down, if they come to put a mask on your face or a muzzle, as I call them, if they come to stick a needle in your fucking arm, and you don't want that, say no. Stand your ground. I guarantee the people that they're sending, their little foot soldiers and shit, won't be able to hold up against that. I mean, they're no a lot of blue-haired, you know, super liberal, like, oh, hey, sign my petition and that'll actually accomplish something, kind of types.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They're weak. They're bullies.
Absolutely.
Just use words. They want to call you an ist or a phobe. That's all. That's their only power. An ist or a phobe.
I beat them to it. I called myself Caucasian. They can't call me anything worse. Apparently. I can't have a Twitter. I can't have I have to change the spelling of my name to have a Rumble.
Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, it's that simple. You don't have to do anything like flashy. You don't have to, you know, go, you know, join a militia or a march and a protest, you know, or do any of that stuff. You just, all you have to do is say no. No for me and mine. No, those policies don't cross the threshold of my home. That's
Right.
all. That's it. That's all it's needed. You know, if enough people stand up and say, we're not playing this game, there ain't fuck all they can do about it. I mean, look at London right now is missing what, 2,000 cameras because 50,000 people have had fucking enough of being surveilled all the goddamn time, and
Right.
they can't arrest them because there are too many fucking people.
Yep.
I always figured a slingshot in that place would clean up a whole lot of problems.
Yeah, or a bunch of spray paint, you know, whatever. You know, whatever works. But yeah, that's my point though. Is if enough people stand up, there isn't a goddamn thing they can do about it.
But our problem here is we have too many lemmings, too many liberal lemmings. The government said it, so it must be true. We have way too many of those.
The sheep.
I'm not convinced that there are, though, man. I think that we certainly see in the media and online that there are millions and millions and millions of these people. I don't believe that those millions actually exist. I think that it's a
You know
much
what you don't
smaller
see?
group of people than that.
You don't see the millions who are not online at all. The millions who don't go on Facebook. The millions that don't go on Rumble. That don't go on every single one of these. That are out there plowing fields and sawing boards and building houses and just don't have time for that trash. When you offend them,
It's a good point.
and quickly.
It's a good point.
That's why I need to get out of the blue state that I live in.
I'm getting out of the blue. Well, it's not a blue state; it's a blue city, and I'm moving to the reddest, one of the reddest states and cities there is. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Never shut down. Never
Nice.
locked down. Not one day, and they won't do it again.
We locked down, and it involved the sheriff coming by and campaigning in my front yard because nobody else would open the door for him. He just stood around and talked to me for a couple hours, and then got back in his truck and went home. There was no campaigning that year. He came to my door, knocked on my door. When I answered the door, I said, "I'm sorry, I don't talk to masked men with guns." I shut the door.
Is it C3 Cubed? Says Canadians took notice of her when she became an ally of the trucker convoy last year. Yeah, and that it's funny actually. If you talk about Canadians and like the trucker convoy and whatnot, we're seeing a very similar thing happen right now with a bunch of Muslim and Christian parents who are losing their shit about certain policies involved in programming children. I mean schools. And that's happening right now, and I bet you guys that it's a matter of days before it comes out about how they're all like right-wing extremists and terrorists and shit coming from Trudeau's office. And Parliament up there is going to be like, oh, well, we can't support these people. Oh, well, we better cut off food to their houses and, and their neighborhoods and all that. We're going to see that happen again because, frankly, Canada's in the hands of the last scion of Castro. And he works for the WEF. Canada's fucked, but it's nice to see people standing up, and I think if enough of them do stand up and enough of them do say no, the Mounties are going to have to stand aside while they cast Trudeau out on his fucking ass into the street.
Canadians are all real nice and everything until they go to war.
Until they're not.
And then they go straight to the whole genocide quotient.
They go.
Article.
There's no middle ground. It's all 0 or 60. There's no in between.
That's why hockey's so popular there.
There's at least one Canadian that built a guillotine up there. He's on YouTube. So they need to be real careful. They're already prepped for it.
Yeah. So, and honestly, I hope Canadians take back their motherfucking country. I do. I absolutely hope they do. For their sake, and also because with that totalitarian shit on my border, that threatens my country, and I don't like that.
Yeah. Especially when the southern border does not exist. Having the northern one.
You mean that there's other states that don't pay taxes?
Yeah.
America's hat.
Illegal Canadians are coming through the southern border.
It's possible.
Because it's easier to go around the United States and enter from the south than it is just to find a way across the northern border.
Just hop on a boat and row.
Right.
It's right over there. You can't miss it, literally.
Old blackface has got to go. Yeah, he does. Him and about a few dozen other world leaders, including Jacinda Ardern, who has actually been kicked out of office, but is still talking shit.
Can I go really dark for a moment? Like really, really dark?
Sure.
I mean,
there was this moment at the very beginning of the whole COVID fiasco when I thought, is this actually going to sweep all of the old dust out of the House and Congress?
I wish it had.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Kind of the opposite of what they said was going to happen, wasn't it?
Yeah, they live longer.
It was like their fountain of fucking youth.
No. They figured out how to let the hate flow through you.
I just remember being on the first day, I think it was the first day of lockdown, going through this Target in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and the mannequins already had masks on. And I knew this is more than 14 days. This is more than 14. They knew something years in advance. That's the first thing I thought. The mannequins already had masks on. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny. There were a lot of things that came out that, if you look back, were prophetic, almost. Do you guys ever read World War Z by Max Brooks?
Nope.
No, I'm not talking about that shitty movie.
No,
I hated that movie.
the book.
You didn't like World War Z?
Samuel liked
No,
it.
that movie's terrible.
Don't lie,
I
you
just
liked
said
it.
that I didn't. No, I didn't. I read the book first, and the movie is a terrible adaptation.
See how
of
easy
the
it
book.
is to get raise his voice?
You know what? Shut up, Larry. Why are you here if you're just going to pop up and like yell at it, like get me riled up like that?
Well, it just worked. It just
Anyway.
worked.
Very loud.
Anyway, so the thing about World War Z is it talks about a global pandemic of zombies. Basically, you know, they start in one place and it spreads and spreads and spreads and spreads like a virus and all that, and the WHO gets involved and the UN gets involved. Countries end up being destroyed almost entirely from within, that kind of thing. What's scary about it is that he wrote this book back in like I want to say a full 15 years before 2019, give or take, published it. And in it, not only does the virus originate in an obscure region in China and spread from there, but all of the depictions of how the various world powers would react to this crisis were very much in line with exactly what they did with the COVID-19. It was scary accurate.
Wow.
Swap out zombies for C-19.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like he fucking wrote the future.
There's this TV show on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, called Containment. Came out in 2016, and it's mentioned in there to social distance 6 feet.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the show. It is.
They had the social distance for 6 feet.
Yep.
Is anybody gonna make the 12 Monkeys reference, please? Somebody other than me. I know I'm an old movie file. But
I started watching that, but I forgot. I started
Go
like
ahead,
a couple.
Gal. Go ahead, Tiff.
The first thought that I had with the references was 12 Monkeys. I only recently saw that movie. Like, I saw it when I was a kid and didn't remember it, and then middle of COVID I watched it and Outbreak.
this is Hunter Biden's drug dog.
Let me bring you up full screen so we can
Is
all.
that a hyena?
Hold up.
It went away.
No, it's Hunter Biden's drug dog.
Yeah.
He had a good time.
Don't do drug kids, okay?
No, drugs are bad. Drugs are bad, okay?
Drugs are bad, okay?
It's easy, okay? I used to do a pretty good Mr. Mackey, and then my voice dropped.
I have a buddy of mine who does a spot on Herbert the Pervert, and I've been trying to get him over to do some recordings of certain lines. And remember, vote for Joe Biden. You get a free lollipop. I can't do it, but he is perfect.
Get your fat ass back here.
Oh my god, that's like a dead-on impression, dude.
Those creamy thighs.
Just waiting for the good paper boy to come see me the good news.
Oh god. Hello, Chris.
You're beginning to piss me off, you me some bitch. Call me.
I gotta go. I gotta go do my show. I got about 15 minutes to eat and get ready. I gotta go do this thing. I love each and every one of you, brother and sister.
All right, Sasquatch.
If you give me any trouble tonight, I'll run every damn one of y'all off this mountain. Love you.
Good to meet
Where
you.
can people find you before you head out?
Oh, Caucasian Sasquatch on YouTube, bro. This is pretty much all I do is YouTuber type stuff, you know. And I'll be back in about 15 minutes for those of y'all that are coming to my chat. if y'all can leave this party over here. I mean, this place is banging.
Oh, we
I got
have
to
it.
end that one.
All right, brother. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Always a pleasure.
All right, bro. I think I managed to end it myself this time. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your channel. I appreciate your hair. I appreciate his voice and his opinion. Y'all have a lovely evening.
You too.
Good night. That guy's a kick in the pants.
Yeah.
We don't have him on often enough, honestly.
He's the one that sings that song at the end of your streams.
He does.
Yeah,
I don't know if I have that clip uploaded separately or not, or I'd just play it. I don't think I do. But in honor of our departed friend there, I will play this clip. And there he goes. Yeah, he leaves like he enters, full of zest. So, one of the other things I was going to bring up, since we were talking WF and all that stuff, was so Jacinda Ardern is the former Prime Minister of New Zealand, and she was ousted in a quote unquote election last year, or earlier this year. Basically, because there was, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, Klaus Schwab, the man of whose boots she licks, kicked her to the fucking curb. But she's still out there, still doing his work. She's still holding press conferences like she fucking matters, which leads me to believe that her being placed as prime minister isn't really central to the plan.
Yeah.
That was just to get her name out there. But she is talking about censorship as a weapon of the just against the tyranny of free speech in this. So let's give it a listen.
This week, we launched an initiative alongside companies and nonprofits to help improve research and understanding of how a person's online experiences are curated by automated processes. This will also be important in understanding more about mis and disinformation online, a challenge that we must, as leaders, address. Sadly, I think it's easy to dismiss this problem as one in the margins. I can certainly understand the desire to leave it to someone else. As leaders, we're rightly concerned that even the most light touch approaches to disinformation could be misinterpreted as being hostile to the values of free speech that we value so highly. But while I cannot tell you today what the answer is to this challenge, I can say with complete certainty that we cannot ignore it. To do so poses an equal threat to the norms we all value. After all, how do you successfully end a war if people are led to believe the reason for its existence is not only legal but noble? How do you tackle climate change if people do not believe it exists? How do you ensure the human rights of others are upheld when they are subjected to hateful and dangerous rhetoric and ideology? The weapons may be different, but the goals of those who perpetuate them is often the same: to cause chaos and reduce the ability of others to defend themselves, to disband communities, to collapse the collective strength of countries who work together. But we have an opportunity here to ensure that these particular weapons of war do not become an established part of warfare. In these times, I'm acutely aware of how easy it is to feel disheartened. We are facing many battles on many fronts, but there is cause for optimism, because for every new weapon we face, there is a new tool to overcome it. For every attempt to push the world into chaos is a collective conviction to bring us back to order. We have the means. We just need the collective will.
Yeah, she keeps saying collective.
Oh, I was just going to make that comment.
Yeah, is it me or does her teeth look like a big bottle opener?
She reminds me of Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah, she's. I think Cliff Anderson here said someone give her a carrot or an apple.
Hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-haw.
Yeah, but that's
collective.
That's got nothing to do with. Yeah, what she's talking about here is not good. You know, It's about controlling information to a point where, you know, oh my gosh, we got to trust these people. We got to believe what they say, because, you know, and don't trust anyone else. And actually, I if you'll give me a second to bring it up, I have a second clip where she basically comes out and says, we will be the only source of information that you can trust.
Yeah, because they're trying to
And
control what everyone else is saying so they can make their truth the only thing that's out there. And it's all lies.
What's the difference between misinformation and disinformation?
Semantics.
Distraction.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's just
So it's like false and falser.
Right.
much.
It creates that question so you can focus on that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's the same.
There's
damn thing.
a second clip, and she is just as toothsome in this, so ignore that.
I've been watching for some days, and this is not unique to New Zealand, that in the midst of what is a global issue, as you would expect, there are a number of rumours that circulate. I am present on social media, or I see it myself. I cannot go around and individually dismiss every single rumour I see on social media, as tempted as I might be. So instead, I want to send a clear message to the New Zealand public. We will share with you the most up-to-date information daily. You can trust us as a source of that information. You can also trust the Director General of Health and the Ministry of Health. For that information, do feel free to visit at any time to clarify any rumour you may hear, covid19.govt.nz. Otherwise, dismiss anything else. We will continue to be your single source of truth. We will provide information frequently.
There it is.
We will share everything we can, everything else you see, a grain of salt. So I continue to share the message. New Zealanders must prepare, but do not panic. Prepare. And when you see those messages, remember that unless you hear it from us, it is not the truth. And I really ask people, just visit
Our website talks about it and is named after it, so you can all know that COVID is a thing. COVID's still here. COVID this, COVID that. Make sure you type it into your browser. COVID, scary, COVID.
I mean,
Fuck
she
off.
just basically said, she just basically said that the politician equivalent of source, trust me, bro.
Yeah.
And make sure they're like a half a step away from, and if you see anyone that's saying something different than what we just told you, you need to report them. Report on your neighbors.
Oh, that's already been said.
Yeah.
That's been said. That was said 3 years ago. It's a snitch culture now.
It's rampant
funny.
throughout the West.
It's funny, but and then in the midst of all of this, I remember reading an article, I think it was toward the end of last year, where these so-called reliable sources, all of a sudden they snuck out and admitted, they were like, oh yeah, by the way, all those COVID deaths that wasn't the cause of a heart attack or or an angry ex-wife or something like that. Yeah, that was actually the traditional flu that was killing them more often than it was COVID.
Said that 3 years ago. I said this thing was a flu, and people unfriended me, blocked me. I said this thing is a flu. It's a flu.
Yeah.
It's a matter of 6 months where, oh, those rumors that you're hearing, they're not true because we're not going to say it until 6 months from now. Then you can believe it 6 months from now, but only believe it when we tell you.
Yeah, because there's still money to be made in those 6 months, and I don't want you knowing the truth yet.
Yeah. You can't be prepared for it.
And we're gonna make it so you can't sue us.
Yep.
That kills me every time. They told you. It's not like they kept it from you. They told you can't sue us. That should have been like, nope, I ain't taking it.
Yeah.
The whole country should have been like, nope, I'm not taking it if I can't sue them. Nope, that's not what our country did.
But that's it too. It's like they all got us all focusing whether we're for or against the vaccine, whether we're for or against, the 6 feet or the masking or the any of that stuff. It was never about any of that. It was about compliance. It was about the disease is actually unimportant. I mean, obviously it matters to the people who did in fact die from it, but there are also millions of other people who died from other things, and they said it was this thing instead.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Like my uncle.
You know, and honestly, like something like, I mean, this was back in the 80s when they had these numbers, so I'm gonna have to adjust a little bit for inflation, but I'd say probably, you know, at a minimum, 100,000 people die every day for one thing or another.
Yeah.
That is a constant thing. It never changes. You know, some of them die from old age. Some of them die from accidents. Some of them are stillborn. Some of them get disease. Some of them are mauled to death by fucking tigers in India. You know, it's like, but people die every day, and we cannot stop the world because people are dying. You know, we obviously we want to, we don't want people dropping dead from a fucking worldwide plague or anything like that. But the way we went about it was incorrect. You know, and some of the shit that happened during that time, during those lockdowns, was fucking evil.
Somebody said who the group that got hit the worst were girls who were, I think, in the 8th grade when it started, because their developmental skills are fucked. It's bad because they didn't have they basically went from middle school to pre-college. They didn't have that developmental stage in high school at all, and they are a mess.
Yeah,
and they always will be, and they're going to pass those traits on. You know, they fucked us as a species. You know, good and hard, good rogering with no lube.
No lube, sandpaper almost.
Yeah. That's you know what, I propose this going forward. We refer to the pandemic as the no lube demic, because we all got fucked.
Yeah.
You know, and the youth got fucked far harder than we did, because not only has it developmentally set them back, like you're saying, Clue, but they're the ones who are going to have to navigate what comes after we're gone.
I think that was part of the plan, because the push was to get them first, to get the young people and the old people, which the young people and the young people and people with no pre-existing conditions who were least likely to get it.
Yeah.
Young people especially. But they had to follow all the restrictions more than we had to.
Well, you remember when certain ruling parties were sending COVID patients, healthy young COVID patients who maybe had the virus, maybe they were asymptomatic, maybe they had the sniffles, to go hang out in fucking old folks' homes.
What?
Right. Yeah,
What?
it happened in New York. It happened in Minnesota. It happened in fucking,
it happened in New York,
New Jersey.
In Cuomo's New York? Didn't he have a problem with old people?
Cuomo was the one that did it, and a lot of
happened in New
elderly
Mexico
people
too,
died.
if I remember right.
Yeah, a lot of elderly people died because of what Cuomo did.
Yep.
Because they were deliberately exposed to the virus.
And he's walking around free right now, talking about they should sue the Biden administration for not repaying them the money that they're using on them illegals.
Gretchen Whitmer was just as guilty as he was.
Yes.
And what the fuck is the name of the guy that Phil Murphy? You know, the guy that Kat's always talking about over in New Jersey, pulled the same shit. The lady who's trying to fuck with the Second Amendment down in New Mexico right now. Don't quote me on this, but I think there might have been something like that down there too, at the time. But yeah, they were trying to off the old people and alter the young. You know, which is some eugenics, the 1939 and 1945 kind of shit.
Wow.
Yeah. I think we have a possible answer to your question, a more specific answer to your question about disinformation.
Okay.
So, yeah, basically what Melvin's getting at here is that misinformation is when you repeat something that you think is true but isn't. So you'd be spreading misinformation then. Like
Yeah.
somebody tells you a rumor and, backs it up with whatever, and then you go and you say that rumor, and then it continues to spread and spread, and that would be misinformation. Whereas disinformation would be when somebody deliberately does that, as opposed to just says something that they heard that they think is true. They're deliberately lying and putting it out there so that other people will start spreading it as misinformation.
Oh, okay.
Either way,
So the government puts out disinformation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horseface McGee of New Zealand.
Right. And she's just part of the problem. She is
Yeah.
a small part of the problem. Obviously, she's a huge part of the problem in fucking New Zealand. I mean, those guys, like, y'all should have kicked her off the fucking island when you kicked her out of office. I'm sorry, but, she's just going to continue to fuck shit up for you. But the problem is this guy and his cronies.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right here. Because Ardern answers to him. Trudeau answers to him. King Charles answers to him. King Charles answers to him. Gavin Newsom answers to him. Linda Yaccarino answers to him. And on and on and on. All throughout the West, they've put their poisonous tentacles. And I hesitate to use that word because I'm actually a fan of tentacles in general.
Clearly.
Throughout Western society in an effort to simultaneously destabilize what we have going and put into place the foundations of what they want, which is control. I'm telling you guys, the WEF is a fucking Bond villain organization.
And nothing's going to be done about it is the problem. No one believes it. It's just a conspiracy. People do believe it, obviously.
Not much you can do about it. I mean, they're not. That's the double-edged sword of them being unelected officials. Them being unelected means no, we don't have to go along with their shit. Problem is that elected officials are going along with that stuff, but they themselves are unelected, and therefore they're also insulated.
Yeah.
We don't have any extremist groups on our side.
I mean, I can think of a few extremist groups that might do something, but they're I wouldn't call them on our side. Exactly.
They're on their side.
Yeah.
We need some on our side. We play fair too long and we're losing and losing and losing.
Well, that's
some of these guys just need to be buried. I'm gonna say it. They're not gonna go to jail. They're not gonna even get sued. They just need to be put down like rabid dogs. I'm telling you. We need extremists. We do.
I am not going to say explicitly that, but I yeah.
Emphasis.
Yeah. The fact is that the WEF, there are numerous organizations that are enemies to all of humanity. The CCP is one of them. The ruling elite in Iran is one of them, although they do not have the power that I know some people think that they do. They're just sitting there seething. They're absolutely a threat to their own people, sure.
Right.
But they are, if they were able to, they would wipe out everyone but themselves. They given the chance and the reach to do so, they would absolutely be a threat to every living being on Earth. The WEF is an enemy to all of humanity, all of us, without exception.
And they just had like a secret meeting with Zelensky. Did y'all hear about that? Like the JP Morgan Bank, friggin' the owner of the Patriots. There were a bunch of people at this meeting. And
crap.
Well, I have something to say about that. There is a radio host I listen to, and he was reporting last week that a lot of people that you wouldn't expect for some reason are investing in Ukraine. They're talking movie stars. Kraft, his name came up. People that had no business. It's like, why are you investing money into a country that's at war? So there's definitely the banks. The radio host thinks that they're rebuilding Ukraine to gear up to actually try to start a war with Russia. Who knows? I mean, that's not my opinion. That's his. I think it's a stupid idea to do. Uh, but um, but considering the damage that they've caused, with the military.
Right.
But yeah, that's what's going on. A lot of people you wouldn't expect is investing and putting money into Ukraine, and Zelensky's getting a lot of money. And if I remember correctly, don't quote me on this. I believe even some of our tax money has been going directly into his bank account instead of his country.
Real quick, Tiff, I just realized there's some kind of parasite on your shoulder.
It's my parrot cat. He does this while I work, whenever I'm on stream. He'll just periodically, especially if he wants something, which is generally food. Huh?
Argo Sloof says, I don't think it is the answer. There's not a way for extremism to turn out well. Antifa are useful idiots, but the other side of the aisle has worse time organizing even small groups because I don't recognize that symbol. Is that a magnifying glass?
It's a magnifying glass.
Or okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you're right. Extremist groups are generally not the way to go because they can't really be controlled. They can be funneled and they can be guided to a target, but ultimately they can't be controlled. I mean, this is the same reason that the bad Austrian wiped out the brown shirts after they were no longer needed, just because you don't want a bunch of fucking revolutionaries running around when you're trying to do something that requires structure and organization, right? And the same thing's going to happen to Antifa, by the way. If the commies went out, they're going to be the first up against the wall. And the fact that they don't know that is both terrifying and hilarious to me. Yeah, it's. I don't know that extremism is the answer, but I do think there needs to be there has to be an answer. It cannot go unanswered.
You've got to be able to rally is the issue.
Well,
come together in it. Yeah. Just saying those words sounded gay, but
yeah, a little bit.
Like,
we've been
the
too
taste of
serious and
that
too
is
straight
like
for too long, so Gal was just like, you know what, we need to get this bitch up.
Shit got way too serious. Gotta make it gay.
But yeah, that's. I mean, obviously, yeah, people need to stand up and they need to voice their opinions, whatever those opinions may be. If they're for it, if they're against it, whatever. People do need to voice their opinions. They need to stand up against the things that they believe are wrong. And this is why I'm a proponent of free speech all across the board. I think that everyone should be allowed to speak.
Absolutist about it. I am, at least.
And it kind of sucks because that also means I have to listen to shit I don't want to.
But that's the point of it. You
That's
can
the
filter
point.
it out. When you don't allow it to happen, it just goes silent. So you can't hear it. But
when you don't allow it to happen, Ardern comes along and says, hey, trust us. We're your only source. Ignore all others. And in fact, let us know where they are.
Yep.
People don't see what's going on.
I think everybody's so wrapped up in the whole, fascism or communism or totalitarianism, authoritarianism, like all of these isms that basically result in total rigid control, right? And I'm not normally for this kind of talk, but well, I mean, I kind of am a little bit, but I think we need to introduce a little anarchy, a little chaos into it.
Ooh.
And I think that absolute free
That's the
speech is exactly the way to do that.
Yeah.
Because if everybody's screaming at the top of their lungs, nobody's hearing shit. But maybe a little bit of chaos here and there. Nothing world ending like fucking CERN did. Thanks, guys, for that. But just to shake it up a little bit, just to show that, hey, we ain't all on board. I realize at this point I'm just kind of rambling, and also hashtag fuck the WEF, hashtag the WEF is the Fourth Reich. Just saying. But yeah, no, somebody does need to step up at some point. And here we are talking on the internet, and I know that always sounds funny coming from people who talk on the internet. It's like the first thing that you get asked is like, well, what are you doing in your own life to change things or to help things and all that? And it's like, I can tell you what I'm doing, but you don't necessarily unless I show you, it doesn't mean anything, right?
Right.
So I would say, fuck that. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. Go out, do what you feel like you need to do to safeguard your corner of the world. To make sure that that freedom and the individual is what matters. I myself, I'm involved with city council. I'm not on city council by any means. I do work directly with them, but I also show up to the meetings. I listen to everything that comes across. I get involved in the votes. I get involved at the various things that they hold. And yeah. And by the way, I would say focus your efforts there. You're not gonna change anything by going down to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and waving your fake tits around.
Right.
All you're gonna do is make people a little nauseous. But that won't change anything because it's not the federal that matters. And that's something that we need to remind them, by the way. The federal does not matter. We do not need them, but it isn't them that matters. It's the local stuff, because even if you get to the federal overreach, right, the only way those people got into those positions in the first place is because somebody elected them to a school board somewhere first.
Yeah.
It always starts with the local.
Yep.
So vote local, get involved locally.
Yep,
go
that's
to
true.
local meetings,
Yeah.
PTA,
That
city
is
council.
true. When I was in go ahead, Clue.
I was gonna say, if you got a good governor, he'll protect you from the bullshit coming from the federal government. You won't be in lockstep with them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll say that at my time in college, working with student government, I saw a lot of the district board. A lot of them were getting elected, and I heard a lot of them saying, "Hey, this is a first step to me trying to become mayor or governor or something else." So they really do. They focus on
Climb the
schools
ladder.
because they think it's the easiest way in is through the students.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Zillage, excellent. That is because everything starts there. You can look at your local government, your municipality, and you can look at it and see it for what it is. It's a microcosm of what happens on the larger stage, on the larger national stage, on the larger world stage. All of it starts local. This doesn't just apply to citizens of the United States. I know that we have people from other countries listening and stuff like that. If you have elections, if you can have elections, if you're listening to this, you probably are relatively free. For a given value free. Get involved. Be involved. I'm not advocating for the breakdown of everything. I don't want to see society break down. I want to see society become what it was, what it could be again. Frankly, I think people who advocate for the destruction of everything are no better than the ones who advocate for control of everything. Like Argo Sleuth was saying here, accelerationism and communism advocate for the same thing. Yeah, you're right. They do. And but I think that we need to take it back, make sure that they are reminded that not only do they answer to us, but that their jobs only exist by the grace of us. And that we don't
forgot that.
Need them. Yeah, we don't ultimately need them. That they're every bit as expendable as the people that they go around talking about being expendable. And from a cosmic sense, ultimately none of us really matter. So, but we are here, and we are here now, and this is the world that we are in. So we might as well fight for something that we want our children to have. You know, I want my children to be able to breathe free, to be able to say what they want, to be able to carry firearms, to be able to protect themselves, to be able to go out and buy a parcel of land and farm the shit out of it without anybody interfering.
Right.
You know, I want them to be free. And I want that for everybody's kids. I mean, not everybody agrees with me on that, but, you know, I do. And so that's what I'll be fighting for. And I realize the more and more I talk like that, and lately it's become clear to me that I'm starting to sound more and more like a full-on fucking Big L libertarian. I want to be very clear about this right now. I'm not a libertarian. I happen to agree with a couple of things they happen to advocate for is all. I'm further right than most of those guys, and I do not believe in that non-aggression principle bullshit.
No, I'm a nationalist. So I'm a nationalist.
I don't follow titles. That's why there's this right here. I'm not a conservative. I don't even understand half of that crap. But I know I am not that. Fuck liberals. Fuck that shit.
That's why I love your name.
Like, if I'm gonna pick anything to be against, it's that. And it's funny because I used to be a fucking bleeding heart liberal when I was younger. So, God, I was retarded.
I was certainly Republican when I was young, but I don't know that I would ever have called myself a liberal.
And see, I've never actually called myself anything because I knew enough not about what I didn't know to where I'm not going to title myself any of that. I still don't know. Like, I took that political compass test and what was it? It was like a right-leaning libertarian thing. So I don't even know like the difference between big L, little L, but I feel like I'm probably little L.
Yeah, you're probably more little L. Big L is like, you know, supports the party and, you know, does all that stuff. And they're really, really into that non-aggression principle shit, which, look, guys, that's just going to get you run the fuck over by somebody who's bigger and stronger than you are.
Absolutely.
It's idiotic. You know, like
aggression gets stuff done.
It does, and I get the idea. It's like, yeah, you want to be left alone. Big L libertarians are basically anarchists who think that we can all get along, and they're incorrect. They have the same exact problem with their fantasies of how the world could be this utopic paradise that communists do, is that they never ever account for the human factor,
right?
For the human equation, for human nature. It is our nature to put our boot on the smaller guy's neck.
Yep.
Simple as. You know, I mean, it's ugly, but it is human. And anytime that you get into a position like, say a big L libertarian, he goes out and gets himself some property, right? Builds up a farm, has a nice little family, you know, they don't have any interference or anything like that. We're all living in this, like, you know, do as you will kind of world and all that. And he starts trading with some people, some other people. They get some wind that, hey, this guy's got this stuff over here, and he's trading for it and all that's for stuff that he needs. So he, you know, starts to develop and grow and, you know, get some more land, build some more crops and all that stuff. And eventually here comes a guy who's got a bunch of guns behind him. And he goes, I want what this man has. The big L libertarian has this whole, like their big thing is a right to property. And they believe that is the only right, but that it encompasses all other rights. Right. So they also believe in not infringing on someone else's right to property, and that includes their body. Right. This is where they lose me. Because if some guy with a bunch of guns comes and says, hey, I'm going to take what you have, I'd be goddamned if I'm going to let him.
Right.
You know, so one of us is going to leave bleeding. It may be me. I may lose that fight, but I'm damn sure he's going to know he was in one. You know, whereas, you know, it's like a lot of those guys are basically it's like an excuse for extreme pacifism.
I was just gonna say pacifism is naive as hell, and that's what that.
That just absolutely does not work.
Yep.
No.
History tells you that.
You can believe in pacifism all you like. You cannot want to hurt people as much as as is humanly possible to not hurt other people. That's an admirable thing, but it does not apply to us as a species.
Correct.
We are violent. We are predatory.
Sorry, Gandhi.
And there's always going to be somebody looking to take from somebody else. Always.
Yep.
And that's the same problem with the communists. They go like, oh, well, everybody's going to share everything. It's like, no, sooner or
That's
later,
not
somebody's
at all.
going to start hoarding stuff. And then they're going to build themselves up. And then they're going to be like, hey, I've got an idea. How about you guys put me in charge over all the stores and you guys keep producing and stuff. And I'll make sure this is safe over here. And that'll be my job. And so they keep giving him stuff and he builds up more stuff. And eventually they have no stuff. He has all the stuff, but he's like, don't worry, guys, it's really safe and all that. Meanwhile, they're starving and still toiling and shit like that. There's always going to be somebody looking to exploit someone else. And there's always going to be somebody who's exploited by someone else. And also there's always going to be somebody who's unhappy with the fucking system and seeking to bring down that system.
Yep.
Like
It's human
these are
nature.
the three archetypes of humanity. And anytime, as long as humans exist in any kind of societal capacity, those three things will exist as well. Utopia is not possible. It's a myth. Give it up. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there. A little rant.
Hey, the truth hurts.
Yep. Keep preaching.
I think
Larry's
that
just like,
tangent
shut up.
went what, 10 minutes.
Yeah. It's not
That's
the
a
first
record
time
for
I-
the shortest. What's the shortest rant I've ever seen you do?
It might be.
My favorite is the men and women can't stand each other rant. That's up there with I Have a Dream. That was classic. It hit you right in the middle of your heart. It's good stuff. Sad, but good stuff.
I mean, look, if we can accept the darkness of our existence as part of it, then we can focus on the light as well. But if you just focus on the light, the darkness will eat you alive. I hope that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. All right. Well, I mean, at some point that started to turn more into like, I got on my little soapbox here and, all that stuff rather than a conversation. So I do apologize for that.
I'm here for the ride. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we like it.
Yeah. We are also coming up on about 2.5 hours, and do you need to go take care of some stuff pretty soon? So we will probably be closing it out here. I know that Tiff has another stream to get to here in a little while.
Yeah.
And I think that I haven't actually looked, but I think that Larry and I might have a stream that we need to be on later.
I
on
asked
tonight
her.
as well.
The response I got was maybe, and that usually means no.
I hope so, because if I go out to fucking get something food and then she's like, hey, we're starting in like 10 minutes. Damn it, I'm on foot, woman.
Well, take your time. I mean, if you're out, you're out. I mean, shoot.
But either way, well, if not, I don't know. I'll probably swing by Vets Talking. That's by the way, go check out Vets Talking. Great channel, a lot of fun discussions. They make fun of Dermy and they get into some serious shit.
It's
Good
actually
channel.
on the Common Nerds channel.
That's true,
tonight.
but also go check out
Yes.
Vets Talking.
Yes, do that. Do both.
If you have do me a favor, Tiff, would you put something in the public chat? Like, it doesn't matter what it's like, Wave High or some shit like that.
Sure.
I'm gonna throw down YouTube clue. Gay. All right. Well, I guess you don't want a wrench.
Oh, what happened?
Type something in the chat.
Oh, okay. I'm on my phone. I want to hopefully this won't kick me out.
All right, so you should have a wrench now, Tiff. If you want to put in a link to that, so that people will know where to find it.
For Skinemax?
Yeah.
Let me pull it up.
That way people will know where to go. Unless Amir's streaming, and then you all know what to do. Blah blah blah. But yeah, my regular panel members, I try to make wrenches as well, just so that you can drop links and all that stuff as needed. So you should have a wrench now as well, Clue.
Let's see.
Yay! I'm a member of the group. I'm with the cool kids now. Cool.
Right on. But yeah, so we will be doing our respective things. I need to get something to eat too. It's been, I don't know, maybe a day, I think, since I ate something.
Wow. Some kind of Ramadan or something?
No, I just kind of forgot to do it.
How you forget to eat?
I got busy with stuff, man.
Eating is one of the best parts of life.
I forget to pee sometimes too. You get busy doing something else and you put it in the back of your mind, and then it just kind of stays in the back of your mind because you're still busy, and then hours go by. Sometimes, I've never gone a day without peeing, but I've gone days without eating, without realizing that I was doing it.
I have too, technically.
I did 3 days without eating one time. Day number 4, I ate everything in sight.
Yeah. And you get to that third day and you're just like, gosh, my stomach feels weird. I wonder when was the last time I ate? And then you can't remember. And then you're like, I should probably do something about that. So, Zillage, that's true. I do only eat once a day, generally speaking. Not Yom Kippur, Argo. I am not, in fact, Jewish. So that's not a holiday that I observe at all. I have been there. I've been present for a couple of those feasts when they break the fast with the Yom Kippur, and man, there's a lot of good food there.
All I know is I've had latkes before, and they're delicious.
Yeah,
that's my limited knowledge.
Yeah, so Kohai's yelling at me to eat. Kohai's one of the few people on the internet who knows me outside of the internet and has known me for years before I got involved here. And this is not the first time she's heard this from me.
Well, if you keep talking, you're gonna forget again.
Right.
2.5 hours now, man.
I know. So that's set. And by the way, I have not yet done it, but I will have it done before the morrow. Adding. Hold on a second. Let me double check and make sure that I didn't already put it in. I did not. So I need to add Clue's channel link to the description and Caucasian Sasquatches both, but they will be added.
Appreciate
to the description before long. So that you guys can go and find their channels as well. Gal's already in there, as well as a bunch of people who weren't fucking here today, and Larry. So, but all right, and for those of you watching on Ryan's channel on Legion Talk, he was not with us today, but we're still streaming to his channel, so hopefully we don't get him in trouble because shit was said.
Yeah. A lot of hot button shit.
The show.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he usually restreams this no matter what anyway. But yeah, he stood us up.
What is Mr. Legion? Is he out there doing that thing called real life?
Yeah, I think that's real life is getting in the way of our YouTube careers here again. Fucking real life.
Real life. What kind of idiots do real life? Come on.
Yeah. Argo, no, it's just I really only have time to eat once a day, and so I eat a lot one time, and then I get on with my day. And also, if I eat too fast after I wake up, I kind of get sick, so I don't do breakfast.
Nobody should do breakfast. Breakfast is a marketing scam.
There's really no philosophical or religious reason for any of it. It's just how my day is structured. So real life has sex. That is true. Although if you're a Twitch streamer,
that's true,
and a reasonably okay looking girl, you could probably do both at the same time. Only get suspended for a week. Yeah. So, but yeah. So why don't we start with Clue? Tell people on where they can find you on the interwebs.
I'm on twitter.com, which I refuse to call that other name, at the Clue channel. I'm also here at the Clue channel with 4 numbers that I keep forgetting to remember. I will be streaming again once I move the Clue studio to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I will be streaming regularly again. As of now, I'm in my truck, and I really don't want to stream in the truck because places I go have horrible internet. So, yeah.
It's not going to get much better in Sioux Falls, but...
Well, I'm getting that new apartment. In that new apartment, they have fiber, AT&T fiber. So yeah.
Definitely. So good to. Yeah, we'll hopefully see more of you on this channel as well down the road. Always a pleasure to have you. Always. See, here's one of the things I like most about Clue is that he has a tendency to get really invested in the conversation, and he will ask questions that nobody else thought to ask that ends up sparking more conversation.
I did that. Little old me.
You do it all the time, and sometimes I think it's intentional, and sometimes I think it's just you asking questions because you were curious about a thing. And
yeah, I got questions.
You ask good questions, and it helps keep that conversation going. Larry,
you guys know who I am. You know where to find me. Thanks.
That was short and sweet. He will be a guest on Netter's Network's Thursday Things this coming Thursday. Please
love
go
Netter.
Check that out. He's going to be interviewed, and he's got some other stuff coming up that he will be talking about at that time in more detail, hopefully.
A little less short.
Yeah. That was short.
Well,
and
I
sweet
do have
today.
to say, Tiff will also be a character in Curse of the Kohai.
In Curse? What?
What? That's something I gotta see.
So Larry's writing some stories, and
oh, okay. I'm like, what? Yeah. That's something I gotta see.
Yeah.
No, I've been writing Choose Your Own Adventure stories. We did one last week on Abyssal Musings.
Yeah, I saw
so
it.
we decided to add it to the rotation.
So you write those stories and all the possible outcomes and stuff?
Yes, I do.
Damn, you smart.
He puts a lot of work into that stuff. I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
Green-haired anti-liberal. Where can the good people find you on the interwebs?
On YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, and Instagram. Green-haired anti-liberal on all of those. Instagram, it'll say Tiffany Rose Cosplay, but my name, either one you'll find me. Yeah, that was really hard to get out, and I apologize. Yeah.
That's what she said.
As I said it, I was like, oh, that's a good one, but I'm not going to do it because I said the words. And tonight, in like an hour and a half-ish, you'll find me on Skinamax Saturdays on Jesse's channel, The Common Nerd, but normally it's on Vets Talkin' as well as Thursdays. We do Vets Talkin' with Knife Hands. And that's more of like a political leaning show. Skinamax is more busting Dermy's balls, which we also do on Ballbusters on Fridays. So that's on Dermy's channel.
Yeah. Knife Hands is special because it's almost exclusively veterans on the panel.
Recently, we changed it to some cities as well, but that was mainly because it's a little dark with just veterans.
So you could make Devil feel all lonely.
I was trying to be nice.
It's like I want to be in the group chat, but you're not a veteran, dude. He's like, but I'm not. I want to be in the group chat.
And what's funny is it was canceled on Thursday, and he messaged me separately, and I could just tell. I was just like, sorry, we probably should have told you. Yeah, it was canceled.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not used to them, or I would have thought to remind Adam.
Devil's good people. He
Yes.
is fast becoming one of my favorite people to stream with on the internet because the man is hilarious and he has great sense of comedic timing and he's just kind of cute,
Yep.
you know,
He's-
in a Danny DeVito meets, you know, Puss in Boots kind of way,
Oh.
you know.
Like his- yes, Devil's awesome.
You know. But all right, well, that brings it around to me. My name is Sammy the Infamous. We are broadcasting mainly from my channel, also called Sammy the Infamous. I used to tell a little bit of a Sidney Watson joke there, but we'll skip past that. We do live streams throughout the weekend. Bissell Musings on Friday with my co-host Larry down in the bottom right corner there, and Know Me Without You, who is apparently too busy for us this weekend, but whatever. And then on Saturdays we do a slightly less structured. It's been a little bit more structured today than it usually is. Usually it's like I pick one topic and then we just fucking go wild for a couple hours. But today I had extra stuff to talk about, so we did that. Screaming Into the Void with a rotating cast of characters, and some of them are more regular than others. Ones that you see on the screen here are hopefully going to be a lot more regular, which would be great. I'd also like my main cast to fucking show up too. But saying, Ryan, I know you can hear this, fucker. I hope you're playing this out loud at work too, actually. I hope you're at work and I hope you have it on your phone and it's playing out loud and you don't have your headphones in. And I hope everybody hears this. You let me down.
Well, folks, thank you for joining us. It's time to end this because we are at 2 hours, 35 minutes, and 25 seconds.
Don't cut me off while I'm dressing Ryan down online.
In front of his job.
So you're saying Ryan's at work naked?
I'm saying that I'm NSFW, and I hope to God everybody sees it. Anyway, that said, we also do another show with Ryan, ironically enough, on Sundays called Star Trek Engage, where we are going through each of the episodes of Classic Trek week by week. And we are starting to have guests now who we refer to as Wesleys because, they're not really part of the crew.
Even though Wesley isn't the current show that you're
doesn't
on.
matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's funny. It's a funny Star Trek joke. Just go. So, and we'll be back for that tomorrow with the episode with Miri. So that should be a good time, and hopefully, fucking Ryan shows up for that one. I hope you're hearing me, buddy.
You let us down.
That said, now that I've let my my salty pussy hang out for everybody to see there. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to the people on the panel. Thank you to everybody in chat. We appreciate each and every one of you. Love you all. And remember, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras. Have a great night.
Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.